What's going on there, guys? We're back with another one. We got to talk about Jalen Rose Daughter going in on Shannon Sharpe. And, as more comes out about this case, uh, it's getting crazier and crazier. And some of Shannon Sharpe's receipts on the internet looks extremely bad. You look at the way he criticized Ja, you look at the way he criticized Zion, look at the way he criticized Deshaun Watson, who ironically, his suit was brought about via Tony Busby as well. But Shannon Sharpe, he give you these Bible scriptures, he give you these words of wisdom and all of these things, but you messing around with a 19-year-old. It's like you have the case and then you have the moral thing, that people is looking at. Like, even if you won the case, you with a 19-year-old little girl. And so, um, for you to be calling others out the way you said that about Donnell on camera, you know how to conduct yourself. You know what you shouldn't be doing. But, you have to be careful when you're just talking, because if you live in that life, your sin's going to be found out. And it's going to be on public display just like this. When you're talking from a holier than thou place, you got to make sure, man, that you're not involved in nothing like this. And when someone brings something like this against you, you had no culpability. You wasn't nowhere around. But we're gonna get into what she had to say, guys. Let's.
Whether or not Shannon Sharpe is found guilty in the court of law, he's a weirdo. Like, this could all be a cash shakedown, whatever. I don't care. That man is in his 50s messing with a 19-year-old. Shannon Sharpe has daughters that are in their 30s. I know everyone wants to be taken out of the group chat when it comes to this conversation, but as somebody who has grown up around professional athletes and sports and has worked in sports for years and loves sports, this brings about a bigger conversation. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna make some people mad. Athletes need to stop being treated like their performance outweighs their character. I'm quite sick of these stories coming out where it's obvious that athletes have been getting away with treating women like objects to conquer and not people for years and years. And this comes from the fact that we treat athletes like God himself if they can catch a ball or throw a ball or score a touchdown or score a ball in a basket. I'm not saying all athletes, that's a generalization, because you have to actively teach yourself as an athlete to be a good human being, because the way that they are entitled and coddled, they are having their hands held through school, they are having their hands held through relationships, they feel like they can get any woman they want because they have all this money and everybody is chasing after them, and then they get addicted to this life and aren't able to settle down, and then they're 56 years old messing with 19-year-olds. Doing race play and all this weird shit. If you went to a sports school in college, you saw the way the athletes are treated, and you probably know a woman who was assault shakered by an athlete, and that athlete got off scot-free. Don't be so committed to misunderstanding me that you miss the entire point of what I'm saying, okay? Because the majority of these athletes are black men, and I want to see black men do well. So I want to raise my children with better standards than this, okay? I'm noticing a pattern. You've got Anthony Edwards getting a woman pregnant every 3 to 5 business months and then forcibly trying to pay them to get rid of his children like their problems. Deshaun Watson was accused of rape by over 24 massage therapists. He was able to pay away his problems and then became the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. I watched Jackson Hayes drag his girlfriend through their house on Ring camera footage. And that man is playing in playoff games for the Lakers next to LeBron and Luka. And I'm supposed to act like I didn't see that shit? Karl Malone impregnated a 13-year-old girl and is still being not only acknowledged, but celebrated by the NBA.
So we're gonna continue this video and get to the end part where she really goes in on Shannon. But I often thought about how the NBA still celebrates Karl Malone. I mean, if someone should be disgraced, I guess they're looking at it like now she's grown and it's so long ago. But no, ain't no statute of those type of people being celebrated, right? Like he was a sicko. He was at Louisiana Tech, came back home, got the 13-year-old girl, uh, had her with child. It wasn't his freshman year either in college, and that would have been awful. But he was in his 20s, and he's a disgusting human being. Let's continue, man.
It's unfortunate that a lot of the people on television who cover sports continue to perpetuate this narrative that these athletes are just normal athletes and we should put their game aside and separate that from who they are on the court. I'm not doing that shit. I don't work for a network. I work for me. So I'm going to say what I want. I am never going to get off these men's necks. I am never not going to feel weird when I see them making millions of dollars to play a fucking sport while their victims are still somewhere out there. And one thing I want to make sure I make clear, okay, is this isn't the only lawsuit of this subject out against Shannon Sharpe, okay? And I didn't know that until this situation, until I looked into it. And number two things can be true at once. They could have been in a consensual, freaked out relationship, and he also could have taken things too far and gotten aggressive with her and done things when she didn't want things to be done. That seemed to be the nature of their relationship, that he enjoyed this almost violent, brooding, almost King Kong kind of fantasy-esque situation. And he's built this whole weirdly overly sexual, I'm so masculine representation of himself. I mean, after he got made fun of for getting out of the car like an auntie at Total Wine, and people have been calling him gay for years, he conveniently accidentally goes live on Instagram having intercourse and then goes to make merch to profit off of that shit and didn't get fired or slapped on the wrist or punished by ESPN at all whatsoever. I thought it was weird when Shannon Sharpe was talking about stretching out Megan Thee Stallion, who is considerably younger than him. Like, that's normal. And like, she's not a public figure that won't see that shit. He obviously apologized to her for that to her face, but it seems to be a theme with Shannon Sharpe and the way that he talks about women, the way he interacts with them. That tweet where he told a black woman, oh, don't you have a horse to go steal its hair from? Like, come on. Last thing I'm going to say on the subject is the average person has no idea how much money and time and effort goes into keeping an athlete's image squeaky clean. And so when you do see something like this, definitely bat an eye, because there's probably, I'm not going to assume, but likely, allegedly, a lot more where that came from.
Yeah, man. So Shannon, with the more videos that come out about him, he's opened himself up to far more criticism. You saw him talking about the Skybreed girl who he allegedly had, some time with, and she looks the same age as the other young girl, also Caucasian. Now they're saying that Shannon has a type, and it looks like it's young Caucasian girls, and wouldn't be no problem if the woman was close to his age. I mean, my problem is the age. It wouldn't matter what race the girl is. If she's 19, that's they say it's legal because it's above 18, but you're looked at like somebody who is a pedo, in my eyes. Like, that's just because if all your girls end up that age, that means you looking at 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and you're asking, you're seeing if they are the age of consent. It shouldn't even the people you talking to at this point, it shouldn't even be a question, if they're legal. That first girl, she looked like she could still be 16 or 17. And um, it's just weird, freaked out stuff, man. I don't see how Shannon completely wiggles out of this scot free and not lose anything from it, because he's what is he going to talk about? How is he going to be able to come down on anybody anytime soon on TV? He's going to have to walk the tightrope. He's not going to be able to talk about none of that raunchy stuff on Nightcap like he used to with Ocho. Or it wouldn't be wise. He may even do it, but it wouldn't be wise to do it. Um, I cringed when I saw him selling the Michelle merch, because I'm like, wait, you doing this with this girl, right? First of all, is she getting compensated? Is she getting any money from it? Second of all, is that your girlfriend, or is she just somebody you was messing with? Because how is this person, even though she remained anonymous, she's gonna feel some type of way that you're monetizing that merch. And this not even the girl that brought the lawsuit, but I'm just remembering thinking that, like, that's gonna cause some problems down the road. She may say she cool with it right now, but you made jest of it. People don't believe you accidentally went live. I seen on Tasha K where that Michelle said that he tried to make it like it was her, but she wasn't even there. But I know it's two Michelles they saying, so you know, and see that was one thing the 19-year-old put in the lawsuit. She was scared of getting an STD because you was out here slinging it. You don't like to wear um protection, and you like to go through the back door. This is what happens when you get up in age and you still acting like you did when you were a young player for the Broncos. You have to grow up, man. You have to get a family. You have to settle down. Settling down is good. I know people talk about the negatives from divorces and the fallouts with that, but um, if you end up getting a divorce with somebody, it's not looked at like somebody who messing around with 19-year-olds and trying to pay them off for 10 million. I tell you that. And your job is to have, I promise you, a happy family at home, with you. That's better than chasing it. Especially, you start to really notice that when you get up in age. Stability and discipline. That was a decent thing. Charlemagne said that was decent advice that he gave Shannon Sharpe. Running around and just chasing all the young girls still at your age because you set in your ways. So that's going to cause you to be a little bit demonstrative and stuff like that. Especially when he dealing with somebody that much younger. You need to deal with somebody on your level at that age. When I say on your level, I mean, your peer age wise. I don't care about the money and none of that. Um, and don't be listening to these dudes that have these talking shows talking about men of power and high quality men and all that, can date younger women. I mean, you date the right person for you. And the right person for you should be somebody in your age range. If you grew up and the Flintstones and the Jetsons was a new cartoon, and your girlfriend's uh, cartoons was PJ Masks and all that, y'all ain't got nothing to talk about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, peace.